thank you all for coming. Like, to be honest, we weren't expecting that many people because of the bank holiday, and part of me was like, yes, but now you're here. Thank you for coming, and also to Creative Mornings for inviting us. Actually, like, Sophie invited us last year to talk, but I was like, no, it's too scary, like, I'm not doing this. But then she insisted, and I came myself also to some of the talks, and after seeing like the amazing community and the vibes, we were like, okay, we'll do it this year. So here we are. We are David and Sara. We are a couple, and we created Raggi 5 years ago. We basically make fermented foods, artisanal, non-pasteurized, with local, seasonal, and organic ingredients. We make drinks like kombucha, water kefir or tibikos, kimchi or tempeh, which you might not be familiar with them because they're quite niche products. But and we make that in La Croix-sur-Lutry, just Lutry above on the mountains. And today we're going to talk about a little bit about fermentation and our journey as entrepreneurs, all that linked to the word of the month, which is blossom. That means flowering, flourishing, thriving. So in order to blossom, whether we're talking about fermentation, whether we're talking about plants, about people, or about businesses, there's a few core conditions that need to happen. So we need a seed, we need the right environment, we need nourishment, patience and time, we need balance, resilience, community and interaction, and we're going to take you through each one of them.
So the first condition would be the seed. So when it comes to plants, a seed or a bulb holds all the potential for a plant. Linked to fermentation, we see that there's a starter culture, a SCOBY, a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. It can be in the form of kefir grains, spores for fungi, or even the raw ingredients used, for example, the cabbage to make kimchi is a bit the seed to making the kimchi. But for businesses, it's more the first idea, the first passion, what sparks our curiosity. And for us, that started on our trip to Bali, here with a few friends of ours. There we discovered, tempeh, which is a very typical dish from there. We also we were thinking about what type of business we wanted to make. We had different ideas. Originally, we wanted to make a vegan cheese fermentation shop in Bali. So our idea was to go there and live there, etc. And so we were starting to brainstorm, and that's where we came up with the name of the business, which is Raggi, which actually means ferment in Indonesian. It's the starter they use to make tempeh, basically. So that's where it all started for us.
The second condition to blossom is to have the right environment. For flowers, they need sunlight, they need suitable temperature and good soil. In fermentation, we also need the proper containers, a stable temperature, and a clean space. And in business, having the right environment means having the place, having the resources, the timing, and an encouraging network. And for us, the right environment was COVID. We were living in London when COVID hit, and we lost our jobs more or less at the same time. So in the beginning, we were panicking a lot. We were like applying to every single job, not knowing what to do with our lives. But the good thing is that we had a lot of time. And in London, the restrictions were quite hard. So we had to stay 6 months in a tiny studio in London with all the free time in the world. So that's why we started to experiment. David bought a Noma's book. That's a real picture of David reading the Noma's book, which is like the Bible of fermentation. And he started experimenting with ferments at home. He made his first kimchi, which after a week, I was like, no, stop it, because the smell was so strong and we barely had any windows, so we had to put it on hold, the experiments. But yeah, and me on the other hand, I got interested about nutrition, about gut health, the connection between the gut and the brain, and I started seeing how fermented foods are amazing for the gut and to support the microbiome. So yeah, that's where it started. Then at one point we were like, remember that idea that we had in Bali, like so crazy? Why don't we try to make something similar but in Europe, because we couldn't travel anymore, so let's do it in Europe. So the idea started to become more real, more exciting. Now the question was where? Because we could either stay in London, we could move to Spain, where I'm from, or we could come to Switzerland, where David grew up. And one day we got a lucky call from David's parents, because in every blossoming process there's always a bit of luck. So they called us and they told us that they had a place that we could come in to live and start the business there if we wanted. So we were like, yeah, of course. And in the summer of 2020, we came to Switzerland.
The next condition for a blossoming process would be nourishment. For plants, flowers, is the water, the minerals, and the nutrients you find in the soil. The equivalent in fermentation would also be minerals, but also sugar and oxygen for the microbes to thrive. This is me with my little tempes, making sure they have enough oxygen. And finally, for business, it's the skill, the knowledge, also funding, and the inspiration. So at this point, we knew what we wanted to do, but we started really researching all the different aspects of making a business, doing courses online, learning, things about Instagram, marketing, all these things we didn't really know, how to make a website. So we learned everything ourselves. But the most important thing for us was basically the products we had to put forward. So what flavors were we going to bring? So this is where the whole testing period came in. You can see we had a lot of different flavors. It was quite challenging because we wanted to really use local ingredients and go with the seasons. And we knew we wanted these four different ferments because we knew diversity was really important for people to have a healthy lifestyle. And not only this, so with all the flavors combined and everything, in total, we came up with 39 different flavors overall that we had to test out, etc. So it was around 10 per season, basically. So that was a big challenge. Around the same time, we also went on a course to learn how to bake vegan goods, like vegan bakery and also vegan cheese, because we still had that bit of that idea in the back of our mind. So we went to Mallorca on this course. We loved the vegan bake idea, so we came back, and as we were still doing all this, opening the business, we decided to add to the whole thing, to bake vegan goods, croissant, pain au chocolat, etc., and to open the Raggy Cafe in our living room. So we opened the space for people to come have coffee, have our drinks, try our tempeh, our kimchi, and it was very nice and all that. It was a lot of overload work, but after 2 years, we closed that part because it was a bit too much, but we learned that it's okay to a bit divert from your main activity and try things. Even if you're going to close, it was still quite a good experiment. So it's okay to try things. Next condition for a blossoming process would be patience and time. So in the plant world, it can take weeks or months for buds to appear. In fermentation, these are ferments. It really differs depending on the fermentation you do. So for tempeh, it's a 2-day process. For kimchi, it can start from a week. It can be much longer, but for us, it's a week. For tibikos, it's just under a week. And for kombucha, it's 2 weeks and more. So from 2 weeks, so very different. But for business, it's even a slower process. Basically, we learned that it takes months or even years to build a brand, to grow, and to get people to know you. At this point in the process where we opened the first website, it's still the same one. We open the website, we get our first customers, we post our first videos online, but also we start making mistakes. So we really learned that it's important to pace yourself and not rush things. So you have to be patient. Even if you make mistakes, you can learn from them and catch that up. So mistakes were breakage, the drinks were too fizzy, and all these things that accumulate, but you really need to look back and say, it's okay, this batch is not working, the next one will work, etc. Even if you get bad feedback, you can continue growing onto that. Another challenge was the Swiss language thing. Everybody knows about it. So how to overcome that online. We do communicate everything in English, but really taking a step back and taking the time to understand the market and how to grow into it.
So the fifth condition is balance. Flowers, not too much or too little water, light or nutrients. In fermentation, we also need to balance things like the acidity, the sugar levels, and the fermentation time. And in business, we see that we need to find a work-life balance and pacing growth to avoid burnout. So it's really easy to get into mentality of growth, growth, growth. And in the beginning, we were like, we need to be in the Migros, we need to scale up to be successful. But at one point, we realized that success means different things to many people. And for us, we didn't want to become a multinational industrial factory with lots of employees, lots of responsibilities, and that not having control of the process and always having to make cuts to get higher margins. But for us, success means enjoy the process, waking every day, happy, and having a business that can support our lifestyle rather than the other way around. even if that means that we're only 2 people in the company and we're the ones doing most of the work. And sometimes it can be tough. Like last week, David fainted and opened his head on the day that we had to bottle all the kombucha. So we panicked a bit. He ended up in the hospital getting stitches, and I had to step in and bottle the kombucha myself, which is not usually what I do. Like his production, I do other stuff. But yeah, that was the thing. And hold on. Yeah, and success also means like growing at our own pace. So there's 2 ways of growing a business usually. Investors, so either you find investors that they give you the money and then you need to make sales as quick as possible to get that money back, or what's called bootstrapping, which is a slower process. Is with the profit that you gain at the end of the year, you reinvest in the company and you grow the company little by little. And that's what we went for. Like we started the company with our own savings, and now every year at the end of the year, with the profit we make, part of it we reinvest it in the company. Either we buy new machinery or we do enhancements to the lab. That's a picture of how the lab used to work. I don't think I said it, but it's our cave of the house. That's the lab. It used to be the cave, and we converted it into a professional kitchen. So in the beginning, there was only that wooden shelf, and the ground was full of dirt, which was very like unhygienic. We didn't know that you cannot have wood in the. Well, I didn't know that you cannot have wood in the kitchen. So we had to get rid of the shelf. And we found this paint. We were super proud of the paint that was waterproof, everything. So we painted everything ourselves. It was super expensive. And in the end, it wasn't within the norms. So in the end, we ended up hiring a professional to do all the tiles, all the walls, everything. Yeah. And that's how the lab looks right now. It's a bit bordel, but there's a lot of views, there's a lot of things. Yeah, and on this idea of like growth and success, I really recommend a book that switched my mentality on this thing and liberated me from the mindset of growing to become successful. And it's called Company of One. If you want to read it, like, yeah, it's really a good book.
The next condition would be resilience. So in the plant kingdom, you have to survive storm, pest, and seasonal changes. Fermentation, there's contamination. There can be disbalances in the ferment. You have to recover from that. That's an example of a tempeh that's over fermented. So that can happen if you don't keep a good eye on it. And business-wise, adapting to the market changes, all the mistakes, all the setbacks. I'm always the one talking about the mistakes, of course. Yeah. So for us, yeah, we did have challenges that we set ourselves. So not only like all the flavors we wanted to put forward, but also it was important for us that the product was unpasteurized, because we learned through readings that, yeah, you want all the good beneficial stuff to be there. You don't want to kill the bacteria. And that makes it that the product has to be refrigerated, which was another challenge, like shipping it refrigerated, etc. So really had to look into that, but still keep it sustainable. So finding solutions was it was interesting. Another challenge that came up was that you can't call kefir, water kefir, you can't call it kefir in Switzerland. So after 2 years of printing labels, etc., we had loads of stock of labels. We learned that we had to change the name, basically, of the whole product, but also teach people that, okay, this is the same product, but it has a different name. So we changed it to Tibicos, which is the original Mexican name where the drink is originally from. And another big challenge we had, it was our first holiday. We finally managed to leave for like 2 weeks. We're super excited about that, and we left a batch of kombucha to ferment. We're like, okay, we leave, it's gonna ferment on its own, we don't have to do anything about it. And it happened to be the week where it was super hot. So we came back, and basically there was 400 liters of kombucha that was over fermented. We couldn't use it. And so we had to throw it away, which was painful because it's some work, but also what was tough was like catching up the work after that, keeping up with the sales. So we had to double down, and it's not impossible, but making sure you have enough stock is important when you do this type of business. We learned that on the way.
And the last condition, in order to blossom, we need community and interaction always. Like flowers, they need pollinators, other plants, and beneficial insects. in fermentation as well. It's always a microbial ecosystem of yeast and bacteria that work together to make the magic of fermentation. And in business as well, the customers, the collaborators, the suppliers, and a supportive audience. We need all that. For us, it's really important, and we love it to work with local suppliers like Luca from the Pepper Farm that did a talk last year on spicy. And also we are super grateful of having like amazing community that support us, like Lama and Diana that are not here today, but they are regular customers of kimchi for a long time now. And Tim that was the first ever person to subscribe to one. We have a box with one product of each that you can buy, and we bring it to your house every month. And Tim was the first person to subscribe, and 5 years later, he's still subscribed, which is like mind-blowing. And so yeah, he was like, we took a picture because it was so cute the moment that he came to visit us after 5 years. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it, no? Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys.
Thank you. And we brought some kombucha for you to try, and kefir. So this is the tibikos raspberry and the kombucha, which I don't know if everybody is familiar with what the products are, but kombucha is fermented tea. We make it with black tea, and it's a bit, let's say, vinegary because it's acetic acid what it's inside. And the tibikos, the grain, they come from the prickly pear cactus from Mexico. And it's a total different drink. It's also fermented, but it doesn't have that vinegar taste. So if you don't like vinegar, I would go for the tibikos. But also we created a code for you with a 15% discount if you ever want to make a purchase on our website. We have a pickup point in Lausanne if you don't want to pay for the shipping. It's in Racine, in La Ripon. And that's the code, that's the website. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we're quite active, a bit inconsistent, but active. So yeah,
thank you guys.
Thank
you.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. It was really nice to hear your journey from start to finish. And thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
We're going to open the floor now to any questions for David.
So what's the story behind
Kefir?
Yeah, the name.
So in Switzerland, there's a law around kefir has to have cow's milk, so it has to be a dairy product. So that's the definition of kefir within the law. So we can't put the word kefir. So we talked to other producers of kefir in the region, and together we decided to choose tibikos. We all had different ideas. It could have been like K''F, and we asked like lawyers actually if that would work, and they were like, no, be careful because it won't work. So we switched to tibikos, and it sounds more, I don't know, like nice in my opinion. Then I like the name.
First of all, thank you. It was really interesting. A comment was, I really liked what you said about the fact, I think it's a really important message, the fact that when you set up a business, you become an entrepreneur, it's not necessarily about the financial gain. And maybe like, yes, one day you guys dream of being financially abundant. I think to be comfortable and to meet, as you say, like support your lifestyle is a really important message. You know, starting your own business, coming up with something in the gap in the market, it's not about getting rich quick. It's, I think, about finding purpose, and I really love that message that you put in. It's an important one for people to hear who are thinking about the same thing. But what are your sort of dreams for the company, your product, or your space that you're working in?
I think like the space we're pretty comfortable. Like at one point we thought of moving to something bigger, but it always comes with the downsides of you lose a bit of control of the production, and it's really convenient for us because it's literally in the house, and there's still a space. Like with fermentation, you just need the cuves to make them, but we still have a lot of space to grow. We are not at our maximum capacity. So ideally, we would distribute the whole Switzerland. Right now, like we have the online shop, and we also sell in different shops and restaurants, but it's mostly in the Romandie part. The German and the Italian side, it's a bit harder to access, and also because the products are quite, they need to be refrigerated, they're delicate products, it's not super easy to sell them. But I think our dream is to be able to sustain our lives and to spread the word of fermentation across Switzerland.
We've had some dreams of maybe recreating like a business model that we could like recreate in other places in the world. So like using local seasonal ingredients and fermenting there, and maybe doing the same thing somewhere else. But that's really like fantasy, you know. But or going a bit abroad, we've thought about it because from Spain and my family from France, they're always asking, can we get your products, etc. And like, yeah, it's really hard to ship it there. So finding a way to be able to expand within to those borders would be also something that could be it. But we're very happy with where we are now.
You're looking to expand your products or like?
Yeah, we do special editions sometimes, so we have fun with that. We're working on maybe doing it's been like 3 years now, we're saying we're going to do a Christmas box with all the Christmas flavors, but we're trying really hard to do that, but finding the time, because we're producing every 3 months for the new season, so every 2.5 months, it's non-stop work and then chill a bit a month, and during that chill month we're always like, oh yeah, let's do loads of things, and then the next month comes and we're back into the whole process again. So finding some space for that, yeah,
but it's hard to diversify. Like we're already doing 4 products with a lot of flavors, so it would be like complicating our lives even more. And for each product, because the products are very different, so the machinery that we need is very different too. So it's not like we invest in one machine and then we can do. No, we need to really see where we put the money to buy the next machine, like either bottling or packing the kimchi or tempeh. Like they're so different that it's hard to think of adding a new totally different product.
I don't think we'll make a total. Well, I think about it sometimes because our products the fermentation comes from different parts of the world. So kombucha is more from China, Russia, tibikos from South America, Mexico, tempeh, Indonesia, and kimchi is from Korea. And I was always thinking like, I wanted to find like something, an African ferment I could make, but I've been looking into it, and it's really usually like local ingredients, they use them, so I wasn't really able to find. So if I find something like, oh yeah, I really want to make this, I might try to do it, just test it out first, and if it's good, maybe put into it, but I haven't found something that really works for our business model. Cool.
Where from Spain?
Madrid.
Okay, because I'm setting up a business in Valencia, and part of the business is a regenerative agriculture field, and we have a lot of local produce. So if at any point you're into expanding, but on a decentralized manner, not full on central production center, then let's keep in touch.
Okay,
Definitely.
yeah, for sure.
Super nice.
Yeah,
cool.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good.
How did when you started until now, how did you find the sweet spot of how much to produce where you're comfortable and you're satisfying the demand? You're not pushing yourself too much, and it's not too little that you can't.
Well, we haven't found that sweet spot. It's like we built a cold room outside, and like it's full. It's like it's full, and then it's empty, and then it's empty. You know, it's basically. It's been a bit of that. It's like we can't fit into the room anymore. And we're like, okay, we have enough for the season. It's been a bit of that.
But also we've been better at registering like the sales. So now we have an idea of how much we sell per month, and we can anticipate the season.
But it's going up at the same time, so you have to.
But we're better than in the beginning. We were really bad. Some weeks we were like, no product, sorry, you cannot buy it. Now it's more stable, I think.
We also worked a lot on like how the shelf life of the things. In the beginning, the tibikos, the shelf life, what was it like?
3 months.
No, like the first one were like 2 weeks, 3 weeks,
really?
because the product shifted, and we're like, oh no, and then we managed to get something more stable. Now it's a year. And so, that was a lot of work too towards making it like able to distribute that properly.
How long does that take until you?
A few months, 6 months, 8 months, like nearly a year for tibikos to be good. And like in the beginning, we're having a lot of sales of the kombucha, relatively a lot compared to the tibikos, which because of the shelf life we couldn't distribute to the distributors, like to cafes and all that. But now it's really the same level. It's all working out really well for us on that front. Yeah.
Cool. So you mentioned the language being a challenge getting into the Swiss market. Also, thank you for this presentation. I learned a lot. But what are some other challenges in getting into the Swiss market? What does that look like?
Wow.
Well, I would say that like the German part, they want. When you say you're local, for them local means the German part. So we told them we are from Vaud, no, that's not local. And the Italian is the same. So in the end, the market is really, really small.
The Italians are a bit more open. We went
well,
there, we did it first.
We're always arguing about things, but
Yeah, it's normal. Well, challenges in
the
the like.
challenge.
Yeah, no, it's language barrier, how to communicate. Like within our, like even our community here, like on Facebook, people in French getting mad at us for communicating in English. Yeah, so yeah, please, like, yeah, I'm unsubscribing because you're send me an email in English. And we're like, yeah, but we have a lot of customers
Right.
in Zurich that don't speak French.
But then
so,
we
yeah.
switched to French. We started doing the newsletter in French, and now we have all the English ones telling us, "Why don't you do it in English?" So it's always like that.
You could do both, but yeah, it takes exactly.
Yeah. So, yes. And I mean, the personality are different. Like the way you approach them is so different.
So we tell ourselves, if they don't like it, well, yeah, tough luck. But basically, that's how I see it.
Yeah,
They
you
don't
cannot
like it.
please everybody in the
Yeah.
end. Yeah.
And especially for language is something that is a barrier for a product that you consume as like you eat. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, if you like it, you like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Something that we did a mistake in the beginning was the labels. We put them in English, thinking it was the common thing, and no, it needs to be in one of the main languages. So we had to change all the etiquettes into French.
Well, we didn't put it fully in English. We put it in English, and some lines we put it in French because I don't know. I saw a law somewhere you just had specific words, but then they were like, no, you changed the whole thing. So had to reprint all the labels, and yeah, that's challenging. The label printing, that was very hard for us because so many different flavors, and every time getting the labels printed. They're made out of recycled stone. So basically, yeah, it's a recycled stone, and so we can leave the labels on the bottles and clean them on the bottle. So we get the bottles back and we clean the label on the bottle, so we don't have to reprint them exactly. But because of that, we have to make sure that they're the right labels on the bottle because you get them back on the bottle. So yeah, but now we're finally in a place where the labels are correct. We're getting the bottles back with the label, getting them cleaned, and reusing, I don't know, 15-20% of what we make is with reused bottles, basically. So yeah.
What did you do with all the bottles that were misprinted then?
Well, we didn't get them back. Well, no, they're there sometimes. They're in
Still
English.
use them.
They appear. We try. Well, we don't sell them. We use it for us. For my dad is subscribed to the kombucha, so we give him all the wrong ones. And basically, with the family, with friends that come over as well, we drink those at home. Yeah, basically, we're a bit careful. Sometimes you might find the wrong one. Don't tell people. Yeah, sure.
It's a limited edition.
Yeah, limited edition, special.
It's not a comment, but it's more so congratulations.
Thank you.
Seeing the growth from the beginning to now. I'm just proud of you all.
Aww.
Watching you all from a distance. I do have a question. Sara, are you the one that designs the...
No, that's the little sister of David, which every time we say that to people, they think it's me, the little sister. No, it's her sister that does everything. Yeah. We're also very lucky to have her.
I was wondering who did the...
She takes care of our marketing now, of our Instagram now as well, because she doesn't have a job. That's all she does. So we're like hiring family, it's important. But yeah, it's beautiful. We're very happy. She does this drawn by hand and everything every time. We're like, so when we tell her, we're going to work, we want to make a new flavor, like, okay. One funny one was the violet one. Like we told her we're going to do violet kombucha, and like she took a lot of time. She drew a flower with loads of details and everything. She sent it over, and it was lavender, so she made the wrong. She's dyslexic, so she didn't really I don't know if it has to do with that. So.
That's also funny. We need to be very careful when we check the etiquette because she's super dyslexic. That's why she's so good with drawing. But with the name, sometimes it says kombucha or apple, like lots of different names. We need to double check everything before printing them because for her. Thanks.
Yes, well, thank you for sharing your approach and being an entrepreneur myself. I see all the comments that you say. Same to I'm living through all these challenges, and but I have a question for you because you live together, you work together, you have your business in the house. How do you find balance? Through your products, you drink a lot.
Eating kimchi.
It was a big fear, like for me, leaving like my career to follow this guy because he studied EHL, so he has more entrepreneurship idea, but me, I did psychology, so nothing at all. And it was a big fear in the beginning, moving and doing everything together. But it's been like great, like so easy. We're lucky now that the house is bigger than the one in London, so we have our separate space, and he's usually in production, so he's in the lab downstairs and I'm up, so there can be days that we don't see each other just for lunch, and so yeah.
Well, just the cleaning, because I have to clean the lab all the time. It's a lot, and then like I have to do the dishes, and it makes me upset. It's the only thing. We don't argue that much.
No, and separating arguments, like we know when it's an argument from work and when it's a personal thing, and we try not to put our personal things in when it's about work.
Yeah,
And
it's hard.
And
We try.
On purpose we separate. Like some days I go to work to Lausanne to say, okay, let's have separate lives, because it's true that in the end we do everything like together. But
It's nice.
yeah, no, it's co-workers, colleagues, everything.
Thank you. Cool. Nice. Oh, we're good. Thank you, guys.
No? All right. Thank you so much, Sara and David.
Thank you.
So Adobe has now created career resources, and they have a free guide for you that you can download on their resource center. And then if you are a Creative Cloud member, you actually get free access to the Adobe portfolio in the middle, and you can create up to 5 free websites you can practice, which is really cool. And then also, if you're a Creative Cloud member, you get 3 months of LinkedIn Premium membership for free. It's like $35 a month. Pretty good. Okay, I just wanted to say our amazing co-spire, our partner, the coder, co-spire here, and I put that in because they have a podcast on to rent with podcast material. So head on over to the website, and they also have amazing closed office space for rent too. If you guys are interested, and you know of anyone who wants to look for an office space. And a shout out to our amazing breakfast sponsor, Trigo, who gets us every time. Amazing goodies every single time. And so they are also part of the Mangio Logo group, which can be found in the Fleur. And they also do boxes like that, or they do catering for events. And if you want, you can buy a whole bunch of stuff to make a nice little hamper for Christmas or Thanksgiving. And then we have a new coffee partner, which we're super excited about. And the brand is called Donut.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. Thanks. So my name is Elisa Bach, and I'm the founder of Donna Coffee. Donna is 100% Arabica coffee, specialty coffee that comes from women-owned coffee farms from Brazil, Colombia, Congo, Rwanda, and Indonesia. And I roast in Geneva, and I sell online as compostable capsules and beans, mostly beans. So, but why do we care about women coffee growers? Most of the work in the field is done by women in the coffee field. So they plant the seeds, they pick the beans, the beans like the cherries and everything, and then they sort and everything. But then when it comes to the commercial transaction, most of the women disappear. So women are like invisibilized in the coffee industry. So what we're trying to do is to identify these women coffee growers, that it's about 15% of owners of the coffee plantations. And then we celebrate them, we support them by supporting their business, and so this way they can support their families and their communities, the advancement of their communities. So thanks a lot for the invitation today. And so some of them you've tried the coffee, some of them have bought the coffee already, so thank you so much. We have single origins and blends. Today, the one you have tried is a blend from 3 coffees from 3 different plantations from Brazil, Rwanda, and Sumatra in Indonesia. And so, yeah, I invite you to enjoy the coffee and to reflect and think about who's behind your coffee every time you drink a cup. Because there's some coffee that can change the world, and this is what we're trying to do with Donna Coffee. So enjoy, and I'm very excited to hear more about what they are going to tell us and about Blossom, because Blossom is very related to coffee, to the coffee flowers, and also by drinking a coffee that helps blossom women's businesses, then we make the world a better place. So thank you so much.
Thank you.